All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to say, Call Halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakah Kudash, and double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who taught us his truth and root well, and Shalom to the hopeful elect, Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakah Kudash Barakatham. It's the brother Kazaf from the Meneval 12 West Coast, coming back at it again with another lesson. And this lesson, we're going to be going into the angels. All right, and this lesson's coming through, the inspiration of, the other lesson I did on Saturday. I was going into, the chariots and, how Esau, basically taking, Jewish rabbis, to what was a Native American land, and in this lesson, we're going to expound more upon, what are the beings that are in these vehicles, which are, so-called UFOs. Esau went and, he, has a new name for them, UAPs, but really these vehicles are the chariots. All right. The scriptures also call them, clouds. We're going to bring in, some scriptures concerning this. All right. Now, before, we go into that, all right, we're going to go off this clip, and this is off, it's a clip, it's a video on YouTube. It's titled Giant, Black People on Spaceships. All right, it's by, the brother Basra Bonman. Okay, he uploaded it on he re-uploaded it on his channel. This video, was in circulation for many years, but the thing is they have, a real vendetta towards this video. They keep on taking it down, man, no matter what, man. It's the time you couldn't even find this video on the YouTube, man, but anyways, we're gonna play it out now. The man you see in the video next to the woman who's a journalist or a reporter, all right, this man is an ex, high ranking member of NASA. All right, and this is what he has to say concerning the people that are in the chariots, all right, the so-called UFOs. This is what he has to say about them.
Okay, but if there are craft, there are beings.
Okay, people have asked me about, I call them vehicles, okay?
Right.
No, I did not call them objects. That was too neuter for me.
Okay.
I had a Stanford professor said you ought to call them objects. No. They have all the qualities of a vehicle. They can move. They're just like a missile or anything like that. So that much we can say about them, for sure.
Okay.
So I'm calling it a vehicle.
Okay.
Okay, somebody comes along and says, well, now where would you manufacture one that's 2.5 Earth lengths long? And that's a hard question to answer.
So are you not positing the idea that those vehicles contain, beings who are, maybe like us?
Yeah, I only go along with government images. And if you want to know about people kind of thing, there is the ship that picked up the Voyager capsule at Alameda Naval Shipyard, and they have a picture there of the Apollo flight that Buzz and Neil were on. But anyway, there is one image there that shows black people getting off.
No.
There is one image there that shows black people getting off.
So people with dark skin getting off,
Not dark, black,
black skin.
really black. Yeah,
Were they tall?
yes.
Very tall?
Yeah.
How tall? Do you know?
Well, they got out the doorway. I don't know how high that is,
Well, what?
but it's safe. 7 feet would be probably a conservative estimate.
Have you heard about Clark McClellan's statement about that?
No,
Oh, you haven't? Have you ever been in touch with him?
no.
No?
There is one image there that shows black people getting off.
All right, they just repeat that. So Lord willing, Akim got that. You know what I mean? Yeah, he was kind of beating around the bush, for a minute, for the first minute. And then when, she was really pressed on that question, he went to describe, a case, where they have a picture, of so-called black people getting off these so-called UFOs, and you see his demeanor change, at their description. You see how nervous he got, when he was describing these beings. All right. And that nervousness is really coming from a mind point, a mindset of guilt. Okay. Because he knows now that they are going to pay for everything they did to Israel, man, to the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right. And not just that, it's very, confidential, classified information. He might get his clock stopped, by the Pentagon or some secret government agency, after saying what he just said. Like as I said earlier, this video, you can't really find it on YouTube like that. So I got to give the brother props, Basra Bondman, call Allah Yahweh Shimi Awashai, that this video is still accessible, because I remember, one time I tried doing a video and I thought I was going to be able to just look it up, real quick. I couldn't find the video at all, man. Couldn't find the video at all. This was a while back, maybe like a couple years ago, but there you have, a outside source or an inside source, if you will, describing the beings that operate these vehicles. All right. They describe the beings that operate these vehicles. Okay. So now let's go hit the scriptures. All right. And the first scripture I'm going to bring out is the book of Isaiah, chapter 13, verse 3. All right. And it reads, I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. Okay. Even them that rejoice in my highness. And they known as the mighty ones. All right, because that's what the scriptures describe them of here in describe them as here in the book of Psalms chapter 103. All right, verse 20. And it reads, blessed Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, ye his angels that excel in strength. All right, so those are the mighty ones. All right, that do his commandments, hearkening unto the voice of his word. Bless ye Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, all ye his hosts, ye ministers of his that do his pleasure. Okay, so those are the angels. All right, and it just fits, the scriptures, man. You're talking about people that are 7 feet tall. That's mighty. All right, that's mighty. That ain't no weakling. That's mighty. It's a super tall person, man. Okay, let's go into another precept. Angel. Actually, we could go into a cloud, all right, because that's one of the precepts that I was thinking of, and it perfectly, connects the so like it perfectly connects, you know, it perfectly connects with these angels and the chariots. All right, so let me see. Okay, there it is. All right, Salakia. All right, so it's in the book of Acts, chapter 1. All right, now this is, after that, Yahweh Shai had went on the cross, and he was, resurrected. All right, and this is where, this is where this is going into where he was taken up into the cloud, which is, the so-called UFO. All right, so book of Acts, chapter 1 and 9. And when he had spoken these things while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. Okay, so that cloud is talking about the so-called UFOs. All right, this is basically a so-called UFO. All right, and it says he was taken up, and it received him out of their sight, meaning he was, beamed up, into the UFO, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. All right, verse 10. And while they looked steadfastly toward the heaven as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel. All right, now these two men are angels. All right, now notice how it describes them as men. It doesn't describe them as, these, whatever Esau, describes them as. It describes them as men. Okay, which, you also have, angels that have, the likeness of creatures, certain things. At the end of the day, these are the creations of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right, and if he wants to make an angel look a certain way, he could make them look a certain way. Okay, but continue on, it says, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel, which also said, ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? The same Yahweh Shai, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven. All right, and that's, that's Isaiah 66 and 50. It's like a 15, and that's we're gonna bring it out. Revelations chapter 1 and 7. Where it says, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him. All right, so those clouds, the so-called UFOs. All right, clouds, chariots. All right, a flying roll. Though that's what the scriptures describe, the so-called UFOs. Now, cloud and a chariot. I mean, a chariot is more, specific, because a chariot literally means a vehicle. You get around in a chariot. But a cloud, that's more of a epithet, a nickname for the so-called UFOs. All right, a fiery cloud, things like that. I believe it was also described that way in the book of Ezekiel. Let me see if I could grab it. Let me see, book of Ezekiel. And this is chapter 1, if I'm not mistaken. Yup. All right. Book of Ezekiel, chapter 1 and 4. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, and a great cloud, and fire enfolding it. It's like it enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it. And out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. Okay. So then, it goes on to describe, the beings that are in that are coming out of these vehicles. All right, pardon my stammering lips. Okay, so verse 5, also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. All right, so it ties together. The angels are not aliens and all that, alien deception and all those alien deceptions that Esau comes out with, reptilians and the grays, the one with the big head and the eyes, I forgot exactly how to call them, but those are not the angels, man. Okay, that's just deception. That's just a cunningly devised fable that Esau has made up in order to keep people deceived and keep people, going in, basically keep their heads in the dirt. It says in verse 6, and everyone had 4 faces, and everyone had 4 wings, and their feet were straight feet, and the soles of their feet was like the soles of calves' foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass. All right, and they had the hands of a man under their wings on their 4 sides, and they had 4. And they 4 had their faces and their wings. All right, and their wings were joined one to another, and they turned not when they went every one straight forward. As for the likeness of their faces, they 4 had the face of a man and the face of a lion on the right side, and they 4 had the face of an ox on the left side, and they 4 also had the face of an eagle. Okay, and thus were their faces, and their wings were stretched upward. 2 wings of every one were joined one to another, and 2 covered their bodies. All right, so this is where it gets, the description gets vivid. All right, where it describes some of them having a face of a lion on the right side, a face of an ox on the left side, the 4 of them having the face of an eagle. This is where it gets vivid, because at the end of the day, these are the angels, man. All right, and they are the creation of the Heavenly Father. If the Lord has them looking like that, that's how He has them looking, man. The scriptures, sometimes it describes them as having, being, dreadful, to look upon. It's not something you want to, what I'm saying, you want to desire to see. If you see an angel, of this level, all right, you're going to immediately be in that fight or flight mindset. You're gonna immediately feel as if your life is in danger. All right, because this is something that's beyond you. But soon, all right, we're gonna be as the angels. Okay, and we're gonna be in them heavenly bodies. Now we're not gonna be looking exactly like these angels look here. We're gonna look like we were meant to look. Hey, if you were Israelite foreigner, you're gonna get your melanin back, man. The whole nation is gonna get their melanin back. All right. So continuing on, and also too, you're gonna be, in them heavenly bodies. All right. Not to go off in a tangent, but continue on verse 11. Thus were their faces, and their wings were stretched upward. 2 wings of every one were joined one to another, and 2 covered their bodies. And they went every one straight forward. Whither the Spirit was to go, they went, and they turned not when they went. All right, and that's going into how that's going into how they are under complete control of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, it says whither the Spirit was to go, they went. All right, and they turned not when they went. Okay, so that's what that is, man. All right, and let me see. Another thing too, it says verse 18, as for the rings, they were so high that they were dreadful, and the rings were full of eyes round about them 4. All right, so the rings, it's also talking about the chariots. Okay, but this came forth to describe the beings that are in the chariots, man. All right, these are the angels of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, this is good. This is the host, the heavenly host that is going to return and wage war against the heathen and deliver our people Israel, man, the elect. All right, and soon we're gonna be as the angels. All right, where it says in the book of Zechariah, chapter 12, all right, and 8, where it says, in that day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as powers, as the angel of Yahweh Shem Yahushai before them, because the angels were described as mighty beings, the mighty ones, they who excel in strength, meaning we're gonna have, Lord willing, we're of that number, we're gonna have supernatural powers, man. All right, because that's what the angels have. They manipulate everything. They manipulate the elements. They could even manipulate the mind. That's why nothing is outside the control of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right, so hey, man, that's to conclude the lesson. All right, I'm not sure if I finished this verse. I'm gonna finish it, just for order's sake. Revelations 1:7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, the so-called UFOs, and inside these UFOs are the angels, man. All right, and these angels, have the likeness of men. You have some that have the likeness of, creatures, may have the likeness of creatures. All right, but these, but a lot have the, likeness of men. And they are brothers in heaven, man. They are big brothers, man. So it says, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him. All right, that's going into the Roman soldiers, that nailed him on the cross, that stabbed him, with the spear, and also too, our 2/3 of our people that said, let crucify him, let his blood be upon us and our children's children. They're gonna see him too. All right, because they're coming back in the reincarnation. All right, so continuing on, it says, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, Aman. Okay, so there it is, man. All right, and they shall wail because of him, because they're gonna see his true appearance. They gonna see that he is real. All right, because the whole world basically don't forgot about the Most High and his only begotten Son. They forgot how he looks. You know what I'm saying? If they into that, plantation Christianity, they're not worshiping him in truth. They're not worshiping. They're not truly worshiping Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. But once he comes back and these prophecies are fulfilled, they gonna know that he is real. All right, they're gonna know that his true appearance, which also goes into the true chosen people of the scriptures. Okay, and who it's like who the true chosen people of the scriptures are. Okay, so hey, man, with that, I'm gonna say, call halal Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash for giving me the spirit to do this lesson, and Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. With that, I'm gonna say shalom. On to the next.